Yo, what's good? Welcome into the show. I'm Chase Sr., and you're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. Thanks for hanging out here with us and making today's show a part of your day. Coming up, how the new NFL rule changes impact the Philadelphia Eagles going into 2024. The rule changes being discussed and the new rule changes across the entire National Football League are as such here. There's a new kickoff rule, new replay usage. The hip drop tackle has been banned. A third challenge is in play for teams, and a reason to celebrate. The brotherly shove, also known as the tush push, also known as the most dominant and the most efficient play in football, stays. It's not going anywhere. Let's start off here with the new kickoff rule. We'll give you a refresher here. This is certainly interesting, and I'm excited about it. The new kickoff rule will see the ball kicked from a team's 35-yard line. By rule, 10 players on the kicking team and at least 9 on the receiving team will line up just 5 yards apart from one another, but no one may run until one of the 2 kick returners catch the football. If a ball is kicked into the end zone for a touchback, the ball will be placed at the receiving team's 30-yard line. If the ball is kicked between the 20-yard line and the goal line, the returners must field the ball and return it. If the ball goes out of bounds or fails to reach the 20, it will be placed at the receiving team's 40-yard line. For those of you saying right now, Chase, stop talking. I just want to see a visual explanation of what this means. Did you think that I didn't come prepared? Oftentimes when I went to school, I wasn't prepared. But on this show, I'm always prepared. So this is what it looks like here. Teams kick off from the 35-yard line. You see the kickoff start line. You see the setup zone, which is where the defense or the returning team is going to have to be on the quote-unquote line of scrimmage. And then you see the landing zone. What you don't want to do is kick the ball out of bounds or kick the ball in the end zone. The new touchback rules, again, 40-yard line. That's where the ball comes out to if the kick does not reach the 20-yard line or it goes out of bounds. So kickers are going to have to get creative, especially these kickers with the really strong leg who have been used to just booting the ball out of the end zone the last couple of years. 30-yard line, that's the new touchback if it's kicked into the end zone on the fly, and then 20-yard line if the ball rolls into the end zone. So if the ball rolls into the end zone, it's not the worst thing, the old touchback. The ball would just come out to the 25-yard line. And I'm intrigued by this new rule because this past year, 83.3% of kickoffs were touchbacks. That was up from 65.8% in 2022. And I think that teams can get creative with returns, running reverses, misdirection, delayed runs after the return. You're going to have to scheme up blocks. You're going to have to scheme up how to get to the returner. I like this. This is better than having no return at all. This takes skill. It gets the ball in the hands of skilled players, and it gives special teams players jobs once again. Everybody's saying football is dying. We're bringing back the return here, and there's an art to it. And special teams coaches are going to have to come up with ways on how to scheme ways to spring free their returners for big pickups. And the Eagles here, this is how this impacts them. They've bolstered their special teams unit. And Isaiah Rodgers expected to come back off that gambling suspension. He has a lot of return experience in his career. So too does Paris Campbell. So they're both skilled with the ball in their hand. You have Zach Bond, who has a lot of special teams experience as far as coverage goes. Oren Burks is one of the best special teams linebackers in the National Football League. So Campbell and Rodgers can be dynamic returners. Britton Covey has been one of the best punt returners in the NFL. I'm curious to see, because he's smaller in stature, didn't go back there on kick returns a lot because he'd get smashed, but now teams don't have that head start. Do you utilize Britton Covey as a weapon with this new kickoff return? I'm looking forward to seeing how these special teams coaches can maneuver this, how they can finagle it, and how they can scheme up some of these returns. That's what football is all about for me. So that's rule change number 1. Rule change number 2 is the new replay usage. And we're also going to explain all of these rules just like we did with the new kickoff rule here. Here's the new replay rule. Instant replay can now be used in 2 additional ways. First, to determine if a quarterback was down or out of bounds before throwing a pass. Second, to determine if the game clock expired before the ball was snapped. This is new. The second rule does not include whether the play clock expired before the ball was snapped, which seems to be a bigger problem around the NFL. You know what a problem in the NFL is? And Philadelphia has proposed rules to change this. Why don't we just have play clocks show tenths of seconds? The Eagles have pitched for this the last 2 years. And what that would do, when the play clock hits 0, it's not automatically a flag. And it doesn't have to be, because if we were working on decibels or tenths of seconds, there still could be like 0.1 seconds left instead of just 0. So how this impacts the Eagles with all of this, it's going to include Nick Sirianni working with some game management here. And in 2021, 2022, I liked his game management skills. I thought he was on point. In 2023, kind of escaped him a little bit. He struggled in those areas. Do you like the new kickoff rule? Let's ask you that. Just type L for like, D for dislike. I really like it, and maybe I convinced you to like it. Today's show, by the way, sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Use the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your ticketing purchases. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check in. You can buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. There are also zone deals. You can pick the section. Game Time picks the seats for big-time savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, use the code CHATSPORTS, $20 off. As for the hip drop tackle being banned, this is more so a rule that's going to literally impact all teams across the NFL. Many defensive players took to X, took to social media in shock that the NFL is moving forward with this rule. Darius Slay said, it's about to be a lot of missed tackles. And I agree with that. We're going to see a lot of missed tackles because players don't want to get fined. They don't want to get penalized. Philadelphia this past year did only miss 98 tackles. It seemed like there was a lot more in that playoff game against the Buccaneers. Their effort or lack thereof was a joke. And this rule is going to lead to a lot of missed tackles for all 32 teams. It's going to be very hard to officiate. And that's kind of my issue here. That's where my thoughts lie. More flags is always a bad thing. It slows momentum. It slows game flow. It drags things out. It makes the product more difficult to watch. And it's going to be tough to officiate because if officials don't call the flag in the moment, what's going to happen? There's going to be midweek fines where these players might make a play, they think they're in the clear, no flag, and then upon further review, they end up getting docked by the NFL. It's kind of unfortunate. Teams will also be given a third challenge in the 2024 NFL season. And I don't mind this because I think challenges are always good, especially if you convert on successful challenges. Teams will now be given a third challenge if either of their first 2 challenges are successful. Previously, coaches had to be successful in both challenges in order to secure a third. So kind of working off of what Major League Baseball has done, what the NBA has done, the NFL, if you're good at challenging calls, you're going to get that third challenge. Lastly, this is awesome here. I was a big advocate for the brotherly shove staying. And I said, look, why penalize the Philadelphia Eagles for doing something well? Why penalize the Philadelphia Eagles for having an excellent offensive line that gets leverage, that gets push, that masters the timing of the play? And why penalize Philadelphia for having a quarterback who can squat a house, 500, 600 pounds? The Eagles this past year in 2023 had a 92.5% success rate on the brotherly shove. They converted on 37 of 40 opportunities. Why did other teams not implement or call the tush push, the brotherly shove? Because they didn't have the personnel along that offensive line. They didn't have the quarterback who literally would pick up 2 yards basically every time that they called that play. Other teams would try this. They would get stuffed because they don't have the center or guard play to get that push at the line of scrimmage. They don't have the quarterback who can also push the pile. Don't penalize a team for doing something well. No one likes us. We don't care. A fair question with this, how is the brotherly shove going to fare without Jason Kelce? And who's going to play center? Nick Sirianni did not say definitively that Cam Jurgens is going to play center, and we'll see who plays center and right guard. That could change the thinking for the Eagles here. Which rule change do you like the most? Which rule change do you like the least? Interested to see what you say down in the comment section right now.